All right. Let me get this straight. Sorry, kids. All right, welcome to another episode. I should call this Z-Crom's Garage, right? But I'm gonna do a oil change on two vehicles today. The Polaris Slingshot and the GT500. So now it just so happens that they're both due around the same time for their oil change. So this is a special occasion. Background story is I'm going to show you some tips and tricks, especially for you Slingshot owners. Believe it or not, the Slingshot is easier to change the oil on than this car, and I will show you why. You know, this car, you got to put a car on jack stands if you don't have the quick jacks like I got, right? So it takes a lot of trouble to put it on jack stands, etc., and then just to get it off the ground. Where this car, all you have to do is back it onto some ramps, some of these low profile ramps, like right there. And so I'm gonna discuss that and some tricks of the trade. But a lot of people don't realize, you know, when it comes to changing the Slingshot oil, it's too low to the ground. How do I get off the ground? And you just back it up on ramps instead of pulling it straight up on ramps, maybe like you would a car. Now, these cars, let me do a little bit of a background on oil changes, because this is always a topic, like what's the proper interval, especially on these new cars. It seems like it keeps going higher and higher. Granted, we now have synthetic oil. For those of you old timers like me, you know, there used to not be synthetic oil, and the standard was every 3,000 miles or every, I don't know if it's 3 months or 6 months. It was shorter intervals. And now we have synthetic oil, which my rule of thumb is, I always say, you know, maybe synthetic oil lasts twice as long. So if you hit 6,000 or 7,000 miles, actually Scotty Kilmore, shout out to him, he recommends 5,000 miles change your oil, which is probably good. Now, there's also a lot of debate. You have these dealerships selling you cars now. A lot of people are going to these older cars, like the older Mustangs, and even these Slingshots are easier. There's not as much electronics involved. They're easier to work on, etc. So with these new cars, the dealers are saying, well, every 10,000 miles you're fine. And there's like a conspiracy theory. Maybe it's not. They want you to bring it in from. They don't want the car to last this long. They want to be able to sell you a new car, because a lot of people are, you know, if you're like me, you want to be able to buy a car and make it last as long as possible, forever. Now, if you got it like that, where you can buy a new car every other year, maybe you're like a lease person. I mean, I like to own my stuff, because in case I have to put some miles on it. But either way, the oil intervals that these dealerships recommend keep getting longer and longer. And there's some YouTube videos out there, not to go off on a tangent, but there's some YouTube videos out there where the guys show you what the engine internals look like, and the engine internals look like crap on them ones that don't have the oil change. Now for these, I did the math. I last changed the oil on this a year ago in September, and it's only got 2,500 miles on it since then. For this one, same thing. I changed it. Well, I changed it about a year ago too. So I put about 3,000 miles on that oil. So you're probably wondering, well, you haven't even hit 5,000 miles. Or 10,000 miles or whatever, and I do use synthetic oil. But there's also a recommendation, you know, what if I don't drive my car a lot? Because there is a time interval too, like, and then the overall consensus is, well, maybe change it once a year. If you're not putting the mileage on it, at least change it once a year, because people are saying the oil sits in the engine, or it becomes thicker over time. That's what people say. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, because I maybe if you let it just sit and never drive it, I don't know, but just to be safe, I change these once a year because I save money either way. Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about this slingshot. It's kind of nice. It takes 5W30, which is what I guess the going rate is of most vehicles at least back in its day. This is a 2017. It has a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder GM engine. It's called an Ecotec, and 2017 miles. But after I think in 2021 year, all four Polaris makes their own engine. I don't know what kind of oil those take, but those of you with those engines, you can still probably get something out of this video. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks, and so you don't got to fast forward. As far as the general stuff, it should be similar. Now I'm going to get into this car. This takes 5W50, which is I couldn't even find it in my local auto parts stores. So I went to the Ford parts department, and they recommend 5W50 full synthetic motor oil, and so I can find it online, like American Muscle or different websites. You can buy like an oil change kit, but I couldn't find it in any the auto parts store, like AutoZone and places like that. They don't carry they might go like 5W30 or 0W20 and all these other things. But so what does that viscosity mean? Oil viscosity, 5W50. For those of you, I always have to review it anyway. Basically, where's my phone? I'll read it from my phone because my phone's smarter than me. But so if 5W shows how well the oil flows in the cold winter weather during startup. So like the 5's like a thinner thickness. And the 50 shows how thick the oil stays when the engine runs at hot operating temperatures. So the low number means the oil stays thin enough in cold weather to flow fast and protect the engine. The 50 means the oil keeps a strong thick layer when the engine's very hot. So the reason why these GT500s take such a thick oil is because they do run hot. They're a big supercharged V8 under there and things like that. So I forget what my Coyote engine took. I think it might have taken, it took a lot lower. But the Coyote engines, I think it's a little bit more advanced, to be honest. Now this takes your typical 5W30 is kind of like your typical safe bet. A lot of people are, if you don't know or you're not sure, 5W30 is kind of smack dab in the middle. So this oil is readily available anywhere, So I'll get into that. But that 5W50 was $18 a quart. American Muscle wanted $25 a quart, so I made out going to the dealership. And that GT500 takes 6.5 quarts, thankfully. These newer Mustangs, for those of you guys in the know, 10 quarts. I think my Coyote took 8 quarts, and I thought that was a lot. Then they're getting 10 quarts or more. So it's crazy. So I know because they're track focused, I guess the idea is you're taking a tight corner. We want to have enough oil where it's not going to go one. I mean, that's hot. That's what I'm thinking while they're doing it. But I'm glad I just had to get 6.5 quarts of this oil that I'm shining the camera on. Anyway, but we'll talk about that. I guess I did talk about. So before I show you the slingshot trick, I'm gonna get the Mustang up on the quick jacks. Of course, the first thing that I do before I raise the car is I take the oil cap off, because when you drain the oil, it's like physics. It'll drain faster if you have the cap off. I got the quick jack set up, so I'm gonna push, I like to call it the magic button. Dun, dun, dun. So that, we can just watch the quick jacks in action. I saved it for you guys. I don't know, I just think it's really cool. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. all the way up. Come on. Always shout out to these quick jacks hold 5,000 pounds. In case you're wondering, I looked at the sticker. It's like, I think their smallest. This is more of their car stuff. So, and it uses this little hydraulic setup. You set all this up. You could put automatic transmission fluid or hydraulic fluid in here. Yeah, take that off, and then everything ties together. They have a YouTube instructions. The hardest part's kind of plugging everything together and setting them up. But anyway, quick jacks. So you saw them in action, and it's safe because this little thing, it locks into place, and then you flip this up when you put them down. So they're safer than jack stands. But they did run me, I forget what I paid, like $1,500 or so. And I'm slobbering. You see, cars excite me. It makes me slobber. $1,500 or so, I think so. All right. So now this, I already got the ramps underneath. And I'm probably wondering, what the hell is this? Well, if you have a slippery cement floor like I do, my trick is I take a wet towel and I stick it underneath this part of the jacks, the ramps, and it won't slide. At least that's the thing. So when you're backing up, it'll stay on a wet towel. So I call that the wet towel trick, for those of you that are wondering about that. Now, the slingshot, I recommend maybe having someone watch you back up, but I can kind of tell. We'll see though, because I'll keep the camera on, you know, and if I screw up, you guys will see it. But the first thing I want to do is pop the hood, because these have a clamshell hood, and you can't really, once it's at an angle, it's kind of hard to get the hood open on these. So let me set up my camera so you guys can make fun of me if I screw that up. See, I got a sense of humor. This is how it is, folks. If you don't want to buy new cars, and I just don't trust mechanics these days, and you know, so I know. Oh, this is the thing about the Slingshot. It takes 5 quarts, so all these containers are 5-quart containers. That makes it easy, right? I just boop, pour 5 quarts of oil in, and this is 5W30 full synthetic. Now, a car, I mean, it seems like most of them take, you know, 6.5, 4.5. So it's like, if you just buy one of these, you know, you pour it in, and then I guess I got to sit it on a level surface, and then I look like I don't want to put too much oil in. I don't know what damage it would do to overfill by half quart. But, so 5 quarts makes it easy. I know it's kind of an odd number. Usually cars are like 6 quarts. Damn, I got to move that cardboard box, maybe. Now the clamshell hood, believe it or not, it kind of, you don't need, you'll see what I mean. I got plenty of room, even though it looks like I don't. So, all right, move this box here. On these slingshots, you push. There's like a tab here. You push down, you hear it pop. It's got all these latches, and you got to pull back. And we'll see. I'm cutting it close. I should probably move this table, but I'm too lazy. Here we go. Holy shit! It's kind of tight in here because I got 2 cars. I probably should have did one at a time. But anyway, you can see the clamshell just kind of boop, so you don't really need hardly any room. I just think that's so cool. I mean, check this out, this clamshell. Well, let me get my headlamp on. All right, Slingshot people. I don't know how these Polaris engines are. This is the Chevy version. Everything's easy to get to. You got the clutch and brake fluid here. The only thing I'm nervous about is getting to the drive belt and replacing that. The drive belt looks like a pain. And here's the with this engine, I'm sure Polaris is probably different. Come on. This is the oil filters right on top of the engine right here. Now you need I forget, a special size socket. They even sell a special, it's called a crow's foot. I used that crow's foot, but then I found it's just easier to use socket. It's canister style. You know, I'm not a fan of these canister style filters, so let me see. This is for a Prius. I got an update on the Prius. It's due for an oil change already, but I like to check the mileage. My goal is it's become a challenge. I'm gonna make that Prius last maybe $500,000. Anyway, this is what the filter looks like on this Slingshot. You know, you stick it in the canister, and maybe I'll try to replace this. I'm so lazy. I probably need to replace this seal. I'll see how it looks. I think if you use synthetic oil, maybe get more life out of seals. If you're curious, you guys, I'll show you a couple mods I did. Let's see. All the suspension is stock. Isn't that cool how you can see everything? A lot of people replace these springs, but I like them. These are the latches. You got 1 latch, 2 latch, 3 latch, 4, 5 latch, 6 latch, 7 latch, you got to make sure these are all latched down. I had a bad experience where I almost lost the hood. Anyway, for the Ecotech people, if you have one of these and you still have the plastic, this is your coolant reservoir. They're known to melt because look how close it's right against the engine here. And mine just started leaking, and it was coming through the firewall right here. And you can see like the coolant and liquid coming in there. And I noticed the fluid level was getting low. So you can order this from DDM Works, and you got a sight glass. You can see like, okay, it's fine. Changing the coolant in here. There's a guy on YouTube named Sam something, but you can just YouTube it. And this is called a Velocistack Ram Air kit. I had to relocate. That's your horn. It was kind of a bitch, to be honest. And you see this, how it points right on this. I don't know if you can see, but anyway, it's got 2 nostrils that come out the front. And they painted it blue for me. See, the blue theme. All right, I'm just holding off the inevitable because I hate backing this thing up. When you have a manual transmission, it's kind of it's a balancing act. And I gotta put the garage open. My neighbors may laugh at me. They may laugh at me and cast me out. That's a Conan the Barbarian reference. So let me set this up here. Put this oil filter back in here. Oh, another thing. All right. I don't want to bump into that mirror because you guys know these are manual mirrors and you got to get out of the car and adjust them if they're off. So another thing, make sure this is off. If you just bought a Slingshot, shout out to you if you're able to get a brand new one. I'm not sure if the dealership makes you take it in for the first service. Now, if it's a warranty type deal, then yeah, I can see that. But if they recommend like, hey, we gotta change your oil at 500 miles, and if it's not going to affect your warranty, or if you don't need a warranty, I would do the oil yourself because you're going to see how easy it is. Just back it up on ramps, drain it, and do it. Because I've read stories on the forums. I mean, the dealership, I don't know if they're charging $800 or something crazy, and I think I spent $30 on the oil and the filters, $5. I don't know, maybe not. Oh, this is synthetic, so let's just round up. Say you spent $75 on oil and stuff. That beats hundreds of dollars. I don't know if that's real true. Shout out to me if you get your oil services done at the Polaris dealer. If so, you might want to just buy a set of ramps, and even if you're an amateur, after this video, you'll be alright. I'm gonna get some water, and then we're gonna back this thing up. This is the hardest part. You can kind of tell on these ramps. I can tell because look, they got a backstop. So as long as you're not flooring it, just kind of back it up and slowly, and then when the ramps might slide a little bit, and then you're done. But we'll see if I still got skills. I'm gonna crack the garage open so I don't get asphyxiated. Hold on. Man, that's kind of tight in here. I wish I had a bigger garage, but all right, here we go. Man, lower this down a little. No. All right, help me, nah. Hope these towels work. Right. Here we go. Damn. They still slid a little. Let me see how I did. Oh, shit. Hold on. Can I shut this? Yeah. Alright. It's not too bad because I was able to kind of look at the tire. It's having a hood up helped. So yeah, there you go. They still slid, I think. Maybe not, but there. Beginner's luck. Now you can see they're on there. Just check both sides when you're done. All right, I'm gonna have to adjust my footage on this one. I keep flipping the camera around. Okay, there you go. On the ramps. All right, so that's half the battle. Now, safety goggles. Let me get my safety goggles. I recommend that. Get rid of some more. So I'm gonna show you under here. I'm gonna get another flashlight. Man, this thing needs some batteries, I think. If I recall correctly, yeah, it's still like with the ramps, it still seems kind of low. There it is. You see this right here? That's the oil pan and the drain plug right there. So I'm gonna have to come in from the side, and we can drain the oil. That fits good under there. God, I'm getting stuck already. Oh, you can get an idea of these Velocistack. You see how they come out? This is one nostril, and there's the other nostril. Oh man, I lost the end is supposed to have like an end screw on it. And I must have lost it, must have came off. But that's too bad. But you know, the effect is it rams air in. Can you see? You see up here through the grill. It's really cool. I recommend. You know, people ask, can you tell the difference? And get the oil under there. Oh, God darn. This is the thing. I know I could probably use a creeper, but I just crawl. That's why I use knee pads. People ask, can I tell the difference with these? Oh, there you go. I got a view in there. See? Boom. They look cool. Little nostrils. Or whatever. In the cold weather, I can actually tell the difference in the morning, I think. It's just, it feels there. It could be meant to. Not to get off topic, but I also have this, for these cars I recommend, it's a pedal commander. And it goes in between your pedal connector, pedal commander is about 300 bucks, but it's worth it. The only drawback is you got one wheel in the back, so you can't set it super high. I think I got a good. I mean, you need it for a, I don't know. Each their own, but for a 4-cylinder like this, it helps. I'm shining the light on the engine now. I'm saying some things out loud for video edits because I'm using a 360 cam, but I forget where I'm at now. All right, so now I'm gonna have to come on. All right, I'm probably gonna have to cut this part out, but I need to look up what size socket for the drain pan. You would think I would know by now. So 2017 Polaris Slingshot oil drain socket size 15 millimeter. All right, now I'm gonna look for the socket size of, and we'll figure out the oil filter top later. So we're gonna get a 15 mil. Okay, let's climb underneath this thing and see what's going on. I'm gonna switch the headlamp on. And it's actually a little bit tight under here. So, but the only thing is I thought I could use like an extension, but see this bar? Look at the frame under here. I mean, I'm impressed with this. It does handle well, but you kids, it has one wheel in the back, so you can't be, you know, here's the mufflers and all. But anyway, there's a drain plug. Remember, it's hopefully I'll set it up here. It's gonna be lefty-loosey and righty-tighty. Or if you got something like this, it's got an on and off, so it's kind of easy. Will it fit? I may have to get another one. I don't know if it'll fit. I think it will. It's just, you just want to crank it loose, you know. Dang it. That thing was on there. Okay, hold on. Alright. Now, I recommend gloves, but I have not driven this, so I know that it's good. Damn. It's kind of tight under here. And this is nice and long, so, because, you know, when you take this off, it's going to, so be careful there. And I do have, I got a paper towel on standby. Got a paper towel on standby here. Shop towel or something, but here, right here. Just gotta go like this. And, dang it. Try not to get it everywhere, but it's gonna, you're always gonna get oil on yourself. At least I am. I just look at a car and I get dirty, but that's how I roll. Alright, here we go. It's almost out. I can feel it out. If you lose... Come on, you got it. You can do it. Damn it. Pull it out. Alright. See, the oil's nice and cold. I mean, you can change oil on a hot engine, but I would wait until it cools down a bit. So, but yeah, see the oil draining into there. It's got plenty of room. Just kind of angle it. And what's, you know, I'm gonna go like this because it's gonna, you know, drain more. And I got the plug, but let's go up top. You can see it's a little tight here, so if you're a man of a certain size, I don't know. If you're a man of a certain size, that's fine. I think you could probably start it on the ramps, and then just to get it going, and then that way you can get like a jack under it somewhere. You know what I mean? So if you're a man of a certain size, you'll be all right. Here we go. So I learned. It's been a whole year, okay? So I don't remember. So I got extensions in case I needed them. Ouch. a man of a certain size in your belly. Get in my belly. Damn. So I'm gonna put this extension. If you're wondering, there's a collection of I even got this. I had to use this on my one of my Mustangs for a job, believe it or not. Alright. Guys, I forgot this part. Take this off. I usually, for this one, there, put it there on top. See, I lectured you about make sure it'll drain faster that way. So, we're going to look for, I think I have a socket for this thing. Let's go to my collection. I know my garage is all over the place. Let's see. What is this? Bungee cords. Yeah. Bungee cords. All kinds of stuff. These are my larger socket collection, and I think it's a 22. Huh, let's see. Is it a 22? Holy moly, a 22 is too small. See, it may be this one, 24. I don't like how that looks though. It's got two 1/4 inch. I mean, it'll work maybe. What do you think, guys? A 24? What's this one? A 30? 24. That's too... I don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to try whatever, alright? Oh, shit. Maybe this is it. Is this it? This looks like it might be it. I might have... I think this is it. I'm just guessing. Because it looks specialized, so I might have ordered this one. Yes, this is it. So that's what you want to use. You put that on a socket wrench. Alright, so fine, I'm just going to keep this running. Oh, in case you're wondering, this is what that's a pretty long drain plug. It looks like it's been replaced, but I don't think it has. This is the same one I've always used. So... nice and long, so that's good. So you're gonna need, I'm aiming at the engine now. You're gonna need an extension to get to this, because look, you got this, I think that's an intake manifold, it's called. So there, see? And then make sure you're lefty-loosey in it. Come on, man. See. Man, I don't think this should be on that tight. Let me see. Ah, damn. I guess it was on that. You don't want to ever over tighten this. Maybe it just got tight over time. You can see as I'm cranking it up, this is way nicer than most canister filters because it's not mounted sideways. And there's the that green thing, that's the seal. I mean the gasket. So let me, I think I can push this button. This is nice. Pittsburgh, I think I got it from Harbor Freight. Believe it or not, some people knock Harbor Freight. Push this button, take it off. So give me a second here. I don't want to lose this. It's like a piece of gold. Alright. What am I doing here? I'm gonna get a paper towel. I got no rhyme or reason, guys. Boom. There it goes. It looks like this. Hold it upwards so you're not leaking everywhere. And yeah. And this is the I think that's fine. I know. I know I need to do a better job at replacing these. They're just kind of. I like this green one. It looks nice. Maybe I will replace it. We'll see. But that's what it looks like, and it just pulls right out. I need to work out. Damn. All right, you can see. Ah, okay. The nipple goes outward, and there's the thing, and that's all it is. And I think you could buy these. I mean, I should probably just buy more of these. Is this plastic? That's a piece of plastic. I'm gonna trash this filter. I usually like to. Damn. Famous last words. It's not as messy if you put this filter in the other filter's box, and kind of. I have a separate trash bag for the oil stuff, a little plastic thing. And then I usually tear off the top and I write the mileage and date of when I did the oil filter change. And save your receipts, because if you go to sell your vehicle, I'm lecturing you guys, sorry. If you go to sell your vehicle, it's nice. I mean, I got like a fancy binder with a picture, a printout of a picture of my car on it and everything. It's kind of nice to look at, because I got a lot of things that I forgot I did to this car. I'm like, oh, I did that. I changed out the diff and the training fluid and all that. So it's nice to do that. We'll check status of that oil drain. You can see there is a nice indentation here where it's easy to get this gasket on. I was just being lazy. So I removed the gasket. I put this one on. Now I'm facing the engine. You can see there's a little bit of oil residue in there. It's up to you guys if you want to get a rag and wipe it, but it doesn't look like black or tarry, so I think it's good. Nobody got time for that. I'm facing me now. All right, so here's the new filter. Just gotta pop it, click it right on top. Famous last words. See what happens. Be careful. There it is, pops right in. Then, I usually go in, since we're already up here, darn it, gotta move this. I have a habit of sitting tools in the engine or near it and losing tools. So what you want to do is, face the engine, put the filter in like this, and I start with the hand, tighten it down so you know it's going straight. Not too bad. And then we'll take our little tool. Here's the tool. I may even just stick it on top and start cranking a little. Yeah, it's actually not bad. Set this for on. And I push this. This one's kind of fancy, huh? Pittsburgh tools. All right, there you go. It's set for on. Cause look, it's still got plenty of cranking room. It's threaded. This has some deep threads between the. Oh, see, now it's done. Between the filter and the drain plug, it's got some deep threads. There, tiny bit, not overdoing it. There. I'm sorry, limited space here. So I'm going to take this off. Slap on my 15. You got to put the drain plug on. That's the most important part. Have you guys seen the stories about these Goofy Lube places? Nah, I think Speedy, not wrong with Speedy Oil and places like that. But, damn. It's leaking through. This thing, see, that's why, let me get rid of this. Where they forget to put the drain plug on, people drive off, and that's all she wrote. My biggest thing, another reason why I like doing things myself, because whenever I have someplace to do it, everything gets over tightened, and they'll use like a socket wrench, or they'll use an impact wrench. And I can see, but you know, it's not good to over tighten things. You can ruin your drain. You can ruin your oil pan and everything else. So, but shout out to you mechanics that take pride in your work, and like I said, they don't get paid enough for what they put up with. And then customer wise and stuff. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna get this thing tilted in. Get the camera. We're gonna take a look underneath the car. Face the car. Put the drain plug back in. I know, some of you might say it's at an angle and it's probably not fully drained. Well, that's too bad. You know that if you have a slingshot, the quick jacks, you can still, some of you jack this up a different way, but you can still, like, I put the quick jacks right on the frame at an angle them. You can still do that. All right, let's see. See, it's still gonna drip, drip, drip. I don't think it's ever gonna stop unless you go to sleep and come back in the morning. So that's fine if you got it like that. Maybe you want to watch a movie. But anyway, this is good. So, I don't know the trick. I think this plug's fine. Let's get it in here. Like anything, you start hand tightening, and I recommend rubber gloves. I'm setting a bad example, because you know that is pretty deep threaded there. Here, I'll give you guys a shot. Shit. Maybe I'm a man of a certain size. Shit. Okay. Come on, camera. Magic camera. You can see all them threads inside here. I never seen an oil pan with so many threads. It's really thick metal. I guess you can really ground. This isn't like a cheap piece of plastic like these new vehicles are. I like that. I like that. That's why I staying away from these new cars and do my own shit. Everything's plastic on these new cars. They're even making like the suspension pieces plastic. Could you imagine having like plastic springs? I don't know what they're doing these days. These kids, they're trying to be cheap. All right, let me see here. Come on. It's on. Making sure it's on righty tighty, guys. If you're not sure, see, I'm kind of turning to the right. If you don't have like a fancy one like I got here, never over tighten this. Let me see a little bit more. All right, that's plenty. I guess this one you can really crank it because it seems like a tough one. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is the year 2015 through 2020. These Ecotech engines, I beat the crap out of this car, in case you're wondering. And I actually prefer, I mean, I don't think it's as fast as the new ones. Oh, look at this shit, a bolt. Another bolt coming out. Yeah, I guess I don't know what this is about. Everything here, like these bolts, they're all them Torx fittings. Yeah, that's build quality, maybe. That could be my fault. Everything on this older Ecotech GM motor, this is from a Chevy Cobalt, this motor, and a Pontiac Solstice, and a Saturn Sky. I think Chevy put it in some other different things. So it's I beat the crap out of this engine. It's good. And I can go to AutoZone and get all my stuff for it. I think if you get the new Polaris Slingshots 2021 and up, you don't get like that. Wow. Yeah. Maybe I should have got a little bit deeper pan. I'm used to yeah, so I'm gonna definitely have to use a different pan for my Shelby. This is kind of cool. You can stick a filter on there, I guess. There you go. Actually, it does look like it needed changed, but not too bad because it's still like brown. I'll dip my finger in. Yeah, see, it's not black. You know what I mean? So that's synthetic oil with only like 2,600 miles on it, but they recommend changing it out annually if you don't drive the full whatever. Gosh, here we go. I try not to step in it. Now, if you do your own oil change at home, so what am I gonna do with that? Because there's nothing on it. You can buy these right here. I usually pour it inside of there, and then when that gets full, you can take it. A lot of these Jiffy, I call them Speedy Lubes and stuff. Jay Leno calls them Goofy Lubes, but I don't know. I got nothing against them guys, because they'll accept your oil. You bring it. I think even the AutoZone and auto parts stores do now. And where I live, I think I'm gonna call them Monday, because I know it's bad, but look, I got these containers are all full and they're just sitting there. I think are they full? Nah, they're not all full, but a couple of them are. So I'm gonna have to call the dump. We have a dump service at they'll come to your house and pick them up. So there's no excuse where I live. It's just, you know. All right, going off rant. So we got the oil drain plug in. We got the filter on. This engine I like. You can just kind of stick this. Look, these are the spark plugs and coils. I think I might need coil packs just because I want them. So, you know, now it's time to fill the oil. Right in here, you see that the oil goes through here. So this, I could probably get a thinner one, but so I'm using this thin, something thin to kind of get right there. Maybe we'll see. Hopefully it'll stay. I'm just gonna pour this whole thing in, and take your time, kids. See, the dealer might charge you extra, like, wow, you know, we couldn't really get the oil in there properly. Alright, so I'm just gonna take my time. You see how it looks coming out? It's not gonna be, it's gonna be amber color. So that's how new oil looks. And so when you change your oil and you drain it and it's black, then you might have waited too long between intervals. Maybe you need to check your intervals. You know, because a lot of us just wait. This car doesn't have a change oil light. A lot of the new ones do. My Shelby doesn't have one either. So a lot of cars have these change oil lights. But if you notice that when you change the oil, then maybe you need to look at that. Come on. See, I recommend these nice. It's nice because you can just bring it right in. All right, see here, and there you go, 5 quarts. Ah, damn. I know. I'm complaining that I had to bend over a little. All right, giggity. And I bet you can't guess what next is. Put the cap on. Here's the cap. It even tells you 5W30 on the cap. I don't know if these new cars, I assume they do. Just make sure you know it's closed up all the way. And there you have it. You want to, I usually write down the date and the mileage. 5W30 full synthetic. And a number of quarts, because a lot of times I'll forget how many courses this takes. So if you write down how many quarts it takes, save you a trip, some time or whatever. So let's start her up and look underneath it. Make sure it's not pouring out. And then we'll drive it forward. Oh. Here we go. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. That's fine. See? Looks good under there. No leaks. Pull it forward. Ah. Sometimes I like to let it run a little bit instead of shutting it off right away. Let's get the oil flowing. Things like that. And back it up a little further. Oh, I don't know. Oof. Okay. There you have it. So, oil change on a Polaris Slingshot. Like I said, back it up onto ramps. I recommend a wet towel. Some of you have different. I've seen people on YouTube just put it on 2x4s and things like that. Whatever works for you. I just want to, you know, mainly for you beginner types, it's nothing to be intimidated about. Now, when you close this up, make sure you pull. You know that when I push down on that latch, make sure you pull up on it. Here's how I'll demonstrate how I like to close it. You guys are putting me to work today, but you know what? We're saving money, right? Labor's crazy now. And then I know it was done right. I'm gonna go on tangent. Like when you take it, like I said, I don't trust it, especially these speedy places. I'm not gonna name any names because I don't want to. I mean, I've used them before, way years ago. But when you take there, like they just stick a thing up there and it rushes the oil in and everything's underneath. I don't even know if they fill it from up top. Maybe they do. And long story short is, you don't know, are they really putting this synthetic oil in? That costs like, I don't know what this costs now. I'll say it costs $10, $12 a quart nowadays, with inflation. Or are you just giving you shit oil? Are you using the right viscosity? 5W30. Or are they just, oh man, we could be all out of this, like, let's use that. So you never know. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't trust you. I don't trust people. I'm getting old, huh? Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick here. I like to use something like this, a nice soft cloth that you can wipe down your car with when you're closing your hood. So you're saving fingerprints. All right. So grab it with your left hand or right hand, left hand here. And then I just kind of, slowly go. Don't just drop it. I like to guide it down. I mean, it's your vehicle. Be nice, all right? So I just kind of go like this, and then boom. And then I'll push down. Remember, we pulled up to open it. Did we pull up? No, we pushed down to open it. So I'm going to pull up, and it has these cables. When you pull up on them, they lock. So make sure you pull this tab up, or your hood's going to fly off when you're driving. So pull this tab up. And then you kind of guess. I usually push here, push here. If I can remember where everything's at. Push here, push here. And then what I like to do is pull up a little just to make sure. Okay, that's latched, that's not going nowhere. And then same thing with the other side, just pull up a little, make sure it's latched. Because once upon a time, I'm driving down the highway trying to look cool with my Slingshot, and I was but luckily it wasn't on a major highway. It was like speed limit was 45 right outside where I live. And there's it was when I first got this and was messing with it, and I didn't know. I just kind of shut the hood, figuring like my Mustang, you just shut the hood and clink, it locks. Well, these ain't like that. You got to pull up on that latch and get the cables to engage, and that's my only big complaint about these. It's like that's not very safe. They should design, maybe they can't design it that way. Maybe they should make something more like standing out, like pull this orange thing in and make sure your hood's closed, because I didn't know. So I'm driving down, and on these, it's a clamshell, so the hood flies up. I'm doing like 45 and the hood's like poof, and it totally blinds me because it flies up. And luckily I was able to pull off to the side, and then I was like, oh my gosh. And so ever since then, that's when I'm like, oh, I'm going to double, triple check this and double, triple check that. So just be wary for those of you, if it's your first time messing with these, doing your oil change. These hoods, they're very precarious. Even when you're driving, you know, they shake and shit from the wind, and you're like, is my hood gonna come off? So make sure that you latch them. And so that's the oil change on a Polaris Slingshot. Year 20. This is applicable through 2015 through 2019, but also for the newer ones, you might have a different style oil filter. I'm guessing it's probably not like a canister on top. It might be like a regular one on the bottom and things like that. But really, the trick with the ramps, you know, you can use that trick. You know, and the rest of it probably still applies. So I'm gonna go on to the Shelby next. So for those of you interested in that, we got that prepared already. So I'm gonna put my stuff away and pause, and we're gonna come back to the Shelby and go from there.